In 1994, a joint United States-Canadian animated series based on the books was called The Magic School Bus, and the series lasted for 4 seasons, ending in 1997. The series was critically acclaimed and extremely popular in the mid to late 1990s due to the friendly attitudes of the cartoon and warm, educational yet fun topics presented in the episodes. The early to mid 1990s outlook towards education when the series premiered was up to date at the time and very relevant for American and Canadian classrooms, and it's now known at the time teachers actually had children watch the animated series due to how effective the content was with education. However, there were some criticisms that the series hadn't aged as well as many had assumed it might. In 2007, a columnist for the Wall Street Journal expressed praise for the series at the time, but the fact was that some aspects of the technological themes presented in the series at the time was outdated or even slightly dangerous for future generations of children when looking back and watching those older episodes, those older seasons of the series. Other commentators presented theories that the adventures of the children and Miss Frizzle went on in the original series had what could now be interpreted as technology gone mad. And in a modern technology-dependent United States and Canada, this isn't exactly a welcome fact for children to be reminded of, even if it had educational overtones. The columnists concluded their observations that plenty of the themes in the mid to late 1990s cartoon wouldn't be necessarily relevant to modern children. 10 years later, in 2017, a revival of the series premiered on Netflix, being that of the Magic School Bus rides again. Information had it that the series was first announced in 2014 and was titled The Magic School Bus 360 Degrees, as the new take of the franchise had a modernized Miss Frizzle being that of her sister. The idea presented at that time would be kept for the eventual series. A more updated bus that emphasizes modern inventions such as robotics, wearable devices, and related camera technology. However, questions were raised if it would be a new class of children to be educated by Miss Frizzle or continued adventures with the original class from the original series. Critics mentioned that with official sources when the series was first announced, that there were vague mentions on details about the children and Miss Frizzle, with the eventual news that Miss Frizzle was retiring and her younger sister would be the new teacher to drive the bus and educate a class. The series was also renamed The Magic School Bus Rides Again to have a legitimate connection with the original series. When the series premiered, it was older versions of the original class whom had returned, and through the series they went on a number of adventures. But critics have discussed the fact that the entire series was essentially nostalgia for those whom had possibly seen the original series, and chronology-wise there was nothing else for the original students to do, especially with Miss Frizzle retired. Further criticism had it that in the early episodes of the reboot, while Miss Fiona Frizzle, the sister of Miss Frizzle, became the main teacher for the students, the original Miss Frizzle, being that of Valerie, was technically retired, but still gave informational help to the students and her sister while they all got adjusted to each other. The series only lasted 2 seasons and ended in 2018. Sometimes a character can be forgotten because nostalgia can keep old characters around longer than they need to be.